Welcome to BBC Podcast, Tapping with Tunchi again. As you see, I got another banger for you. Special guest that I came across her content, and I said she has to do this show because you have to hear this story because it's just incredible how it's just amazing storyteller. You actually have her coming from absolute. I know you guys hear it all the time. It's from nothing to something, but definitely something. And this is a story that you have to hear. This is Pastor to Stripper. Then you actually have her Untamed and Open Book. So the interview should be amazing. Please welcome Nikole Mitchell.
Yeah! Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to spill the tea. I'm an open book. Ask me anything.
For sure. If you guys don't know already, can you please share with them the origin of around the timeline of when it started, from where were you when you thought about, should I do the industry? What were you doing prior?
Yeah, so I went viral in 2020 as the pastor turned stripper, and I ended up going from food stamps to multi-seven figures. And before that, I was a total church girl. I was raised in the Baptist denomination. I was the leader of the youth group, and eventually I worked at as a high school Christian high school teacher. I was a mega church pastor. I was all in on the religious good girl life.
Okay.
And even when I became a pastor, that was seen as scandalous because in my denomination, women are not allowed to be pastors. So so obviously gender inequality is still very rampant in the church. And so when I found a church that allowed me to be a leader, I came alive because I love speaking and teaching and helping people. And the older I got, I was on my own evolution journey. And the more I rose up in ranks in my church, the more disillusioned I became by religion, the politics of religion, the hypocrisy. I realized so much of my role at the church was I was so controlled, so censored, so emotionally and spiritually used and abused. And in all of this, I'm trying to figure out, how do I fulfill my calling, which I feel like is to help people, but also not be used and misused. I end up realizing I'm queer in the midst of this. I'm married to a man. I've had 3 kids with him. And I thought my whole life I was straight. And I was like, how can I live in my own body and not even know my own sexuality? And it made me think, what else do I think is right or true that I'm completely wrong on? So I decided to go on this journey of who is Nikole Mitchell apart from religion, rules, dogma, who everyone says I should be, who am I actually? And it was a 2 or 3 year journey. It wasn't overnight, but I found out I was a closeted slut. And it sounds so silly. People are like, oh, you knew all along. I didn't. I was so immersed in religion that all my sexual desires from growing up, I shoved down so deep because they weren't allowed. They were dangerous. They were wrong. They were immoral. And they all came rushing back to the surface. And I remember thinking oh no, this is terrifying. Also oh my God, these have always been here all along. Okay. And now what do I do with this?
So who opened the door for you though?
So I think my realizing my sexuality opened the door, and it made me begin to question why am I working at this church where they wouldn't pay me? I was a woman. They wouldn't pay me, but they'd pay the male pastors. What am I doing, giving my life, and I'm spending 10, 20, 30 hours a week for this church, getting paid nothing. And I'm just told that's what a good woman does. Okay. But realizing I'm queer, which is not allowed in the church, and I'm also
How did you discover that? What?
So I started getting really involved in the LGBTQ community. I wanted to be a really good ally. Okay. And so I started going to a lot of events. I joined the board of trustees for a theater company, and just I'm going to be their biggest advocate. And the more time I spent with them, the more I felt these feelings arise in me. I'm of attraction. I'm no, I'm straight. I just love people. And after enough years being in this world, it's the coin went through the slot. I'm oh wait, I'm not straight. And it was this, what? How did I not know this? And then you go back through your whole life and there's all these signs. Okay. But I was never given the vocabulary. I was never given the permission or the safety to talk about it. So it all made sense. And even when I told my husband at the time, he was the one person I wasn't afraid to tell. And he said, I think that's awesome. I think that's normal. And really? I'm so happy for you. And I was I started bawling because it was so healing to be loved for who I am. Okay. And at that time, I didn't know, am I gay? Am I trans? Now I identify as pansexual, but I didn't know that at the time. I just knew I wasn't just straight. Okay. And then as I'm on this journey, realizing how sexual I am and how I want to learn how to feel sexy again, I learned about this platform called OF.
Okay.
And I immediately felt drawn to it, but all these reasons about how dangerous and wrong and immoral, and how could you? You're a wife, you're a mother. So I spent a year working through all my hesitations around that platform. And then finally, when I felt as ready as I ever could be, I was like, let's do it. And I started an account.
What, like, can you explain that day? Like, you know what? This is I'm ready now. Like, let's activate an account. Let's make screen name.
Yeah, it's such an internal knowing where you're always going to fear when you do something that's out of your zone and that's uncomfortable. Like there's always going to be a reason not to. But after spending a year working through as many reasons as possible, it really came down to like, I'm an adult. I can do whatever the F I want. Like, why am I so concerned? I was so concerned about what my parents think and my siblings and my friends and my church
Who
community.
don't pay your bills, though.
Who don't pay my bills, who are not in charge of my life. And I'm like, this has been a very thoughtful journey. This wasn't a rash decision. This was like 3 years in the making. And like, I'm just going to create it. And I'm not going to tell anyone a little bit. I just want to see what it feels like to have an account. I'm going to start posting because really what my OF started as a place of self-reclamation. What's it like to intentionally dress sexy? Okay. What's it like to receive compliments and maybe a little cash?
Were you always covered up before? Like,
I always had this desire to be seen, but always was modest. Okay. And it would come out little ways. I remember I wanted to post like a sexy selfie on my Facebook years ago, and I ran the photo by 2 of my mentors. Is this too much? Is this okay? And they were like, Nikole, you're fine. It was a turtleneck, a black turtleneck with black leggings, but it was skin tight. And I'm like, but you see my little curves. And they're like, you're okay. Like, I was so in my head. And so I'm like, what would it look like to be sexy on purpose and show a little more skin? So I started it, didn't tell anyone. And it was like a little uncomfortable, but kind of exciting. And then people started subscribing and they started paying me. And I started like panicking. I'm like, what is this thing?
At this time, how are you pulling in the subscribers?
I think people are just finding it randomly because I'm not promoting it. So it's very small. And then I fell in love with it so fast that I'm like, I'm the all or nothing kind of girl. I'm like, I'm going to write a post on social media and let all my followers know, my family know, my friends know. I've started this thing. Everyone who follows me knows me. I have felt led to start this. I'm really excited about the adventure. If this is going to offend you, please unfollow me or unfriend me now. And if you want to come along for the ride, you are welcome. So I posted it. I turned off social media. I cried because I'm like, I'm so afraid. But I had ripped that Band-Aid off because I was so tired of living in fear. And then that was the beginning of my public OF page. Okay.
And real quick for the people to get like a staple of like where it came from, this church and everything you went to, what state is this in?
I was in Minnesota.
Okay.
So I was in Minnesota. Okay. I left the church in 2017. I moved to California in 2019 because I'm like, I want a fresh start. I want to be where no one knows me. I love LA. I love that this is like the land where dreams come true. Okay. And I wanted to have a new beginning. And then I started my OF in 2019. And then it went viral in 2020.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
And can you tell us about shortly about the journey between being married with kids and then starting this actual adventure, I guess I would say.
Yeah. So my then husband, we are now divorced, but back then he was fully on board. He was so supportive of me, one of my biggest champions. I give him a lot of credit for who I became today because he was like, screw the rules. Like, do you. Like, you live life on your terms.
He wasn't even worried about his friends or family. Like, oh, they're going to see my wife.
Yeah. He's like, just do it. Like, why do you care so much? I'm like, okay. I needed that. Okay. And so he's the one who was buying me lingerie. He was the one who's taking my pictures for my site. And I was like, this is a dream come true. Oh, my gosh. And then 6 months into it or 5 months into it or something, it was like a switch flipped. And he was like, you're done. You're taking it all down. You're no longer writing sexy photos. You're no longer going to pursue your Hollywood career. I was taking acting classes. He's like, he just flipped. And I thought it was like a sick joke. And we had this huge fight. And it just ended up being 2 weeks of like, where did this come from? And then after that, I realized like I was begging him every day because he like put up this huge emotional wall. And I was like begging him to let me in, begging him to love me. Like saying I'll do anything because I could not imagine my life without him. And after 2 weeks of begging, I was like, if I have to beg someone to love me, I'm out. And so once I realized that, I moved really fast. I pushed for a separation date a month later. And he's like, no, I think we can work it out. I'm like, no, you don't get to play that game. You don't get to pull away from me and then do whiplash. I'm out. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I thought I was ruining my kids. I thought like everyone was against it. My family, his family, all of our friends thought I was a psycho. I'm having a midlife crisis. But getting divorced was truly one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
You think that pretty much opened up the doors to where allow you to be more of yourself now.
Yes, because it was a few months after we filed, I blew up and had my first $100,000 month, and I realized how much I held myself back to be a good wife, how much I like ran my decisions through him, and when he was no longer part of the equation, I could just do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and the money just flowed, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I could see it so clearly then, and now I have a partner who's fully supportive of my work, and I am so happy I didn't stay with what was good enough, because now I have something that is absolutely mind-blowingly aligned.
Is your partner now part of the industry, or
No,
he was just
he's a
like
civilian.
so actually just outside looking in, and he's
Yes.
like, I don't know, I always find it very, very rare that a male is can actually deal with the lifestyle, I would guess to say.
Yes, I completely agree. I dated a bunch of men after I got divorced, and
Did you always have to tell them that what you do in the industry?
yeah, I would try to hold off. I'm like, I want them to love me for me, and then they would find out what I did, and they'd be like, no issue, but I cannot date someone like you.
Okay.
And so then I got rejected so many times. I'm like, I'm just going to tell them from the beginning, so I'm not wasting my time. So I'm like, hey, this is what I do. If this can be an issue for you, I can't date you. So that helps eliminate, but it is really difficult for, I think, the average guy.
Okay. So would you say most people that are in relationships in the industry, they have to date somebody in the industry? It's hard to find a civilian?
I mean, I have friends who do both.
Okay.
And I think everyone who's in this situation always thinks the grass is greener. So I always think like, man, it must be really nice to date someone in the industry. It must be so easy. And the people in the industry are like, man, it must be so nice to have someone who's not in the industry and just is disconnected. So I think there's pros and cons to both. Okay. And my path just happened to include someone who's not in the industry, and I love it.
Okay. Did you, right away, did he let his family and friends know that he was dating somebody, or did he got to keep it private and introduce you later?
He was pretty proud right away, told people right away. His parents want to meet me right away, which was shocking because my parents did not want to meet him because they were like so upset about my divorce, and they were like so happy for him that he found someone. And I've never met people who are so eager to meet me. In the midst of a season where everyone was rejecting me, it was like really healing to have people want to meet me and see me as a good person. And from day one, his family has loved me, and they know what I do. And I will forever be grateful for them for being that way towards me.
Okay. So is he part of the team right now? Does he take pictures, help you with editing, or do anything?
He did in the beginning. He did a lot of my photos, and he's so good. But now he's so busy with his career, and I'm so busy that now he doesn't do that. But this weekend, he built a soundproof door for our bedroom. Last Christmas, he built me my own portable podcast studio. So he helps in that way. What can we do to help you take it to the next level?
To you, though,
oh my gosh. I'm like that is love. It's not just go get it, honey. It's I'm building these things to make your career even better, hopefully make you more money. And that means the world to me.
For sure. Can we speak a little bit more on the money part now?
Yes, I love money.
How was it transitioning, going from you said, just being quiet, being a good housewife, staying home, and then now you're absorbing the money, you're calling the shots, and you're pretty much handling everything?
Yes. So my family and I were on food stamps for almost 10 years, and it was so demoralizing, so depressing.
Even when you're married?
When I was married, almost our entire marriage were on food stamps. My ex-husband's a good man, not very good with money. And that is something I learned when I got divorced. And I said, if I ever date someone, they have to have a lot of money, and they have to be good with it. That is a bare minimum for me. And once I realized I could trust myself, even though I have no business experience, I don't come from a family of entrepreneurship. I had an education degree from a Bible college, not equipped to become a multimillionaire. I realized I'm really good with money, and it's one of my biggest kinks is how much money can I make, and in a way that feels so good and juicy and aligned. And so I went from food stamps to multi-seven figures, and my goal was to make seven figures in my lifetime. I'm like, if I could just make $1 million, that would have taken me a 40-year high school career. When I was a high school teacher, a 40-year career, I would have made $1 million. That's how little I was paid.
In 40 years?
In 40 years, I was paid $25,000 a year as a high school teacher. And here I've made multi-seven within a few years, and I'm just I am obsessed, and I find the more I'm aligned with my truth and do who I'm meant to be, not who others think I should be, money flows so much easier into my life.
And what is it that you feel like you discovered versus their husband used to call the shots and handle the money, and now you do? What's the difference?
A couple things. For me, money is so much about energetics. I feel a certain way about money. I'll get a feeling about an idea, and it's more in my opinion, magical than logical. So when I was on food stamps, I was trying to do everyone else's way of handling money. I had like a financial advisor. I did Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University, like trying to do everyone's practical, logical approach to money. And there were 5 years in a row where both my ex-husband and I were working. We were working more hours every year, and we were making less money each year.
Wait a minute.
That does not compute.
You guys are paddling backwards?
So that's when I realized, oh, money is so much more than just math. And I remember like learning the words abundance and scarcity, and something in my soul lit up. And I'm like, what is that? I was seeing a therapist at the time. I came to my session, I'm like, what is abundance and scarcity? Can you tell me? And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was like, like I feel something in my soul. And that's when I discovered life coaching. And I started buying these life coaching books all about how to become rich. And it's through mindset,
they teach you
energy.
the abundance mindset all the time.
Yes, the mindset. Yeah. And my mind was blown. I hired a life coach. I took all of our money we had in retirement at the time, which was $10,000, which felt like $1 million back then. And I took them out of our retirement to put a down payment on our my life coach. And I had to pay him the last $5,000 we had in our savings. I gave every dollar to this man. We had $1,000 left to our name after I hired this coach. It was insanity. My husband fully supported me. Hired him for 6 months. My life was completely different on the inside when that was done. Like if you looked at the outside of my life, same, still on food stamps, still struggling, but I felt like a different woman.
Like you knew you had the formula coming in.
Yes. Okay. And I understood like I can manipulate reality with the way I perceive and think and feel. And slowly but surely money started trickling in the most random ways. And I was like, wait, money's a freaking energetic game. And so the more I learned to master the energetics of wealth, and I'd study the lives of the super wealthy and like learn how they think about money, how they decide with money, how they invest in money, it is the complete opposite of how I was raised to think about money. And money just started flowing. And to me, money is now one of the easiest things for me to do after a lifetime of thinking it was the hardest things I could ever do.
Okay. Once you actually, let's say you made your first 6 figures, like you said, you had a 6-figure month. What was your plan from there? What was the next investment? Like, what was the next move?
So for me, as soon as I made my 6-figure months and I was starting to make a lot of money like that, I immediately hired a lawyer and I started a trust and did a will. Because I come from a family that doesn't have a lot of money, and I have this, my goal is to be a billionaire. And I'm like, I want to have a legacy that lasts beyond me, that goes into my children, hopefully my children's children. And so I immediately started my trust fund, which is so crazy to say, coming from food stamps. Who says that? Trust funds you hear about like on TV and in books. And here I have a trust fund for my kids. Got a will, like writing out how my money's going to be spread to my kids if I die. And I hired a wealth management team, and I just immediately, it was long term. How can I make this money last? And I think that has set me apart from a lot of creators who make a lot of money, but burn through it. Like I remember meeting a girl at that time. She's making about the same as me. She would run out of money about 3 weeks into the month.
You think that's because like they liquidated so much because it's so easily made? Is that why?
And you're just so excited when you're young. And even I did this a little bit too. I was so new to money. You just like, you're almost like you're making up for lost time. So I'm taking my kids on vacations. I buy a brand new car. I upgrade my housing. I'm hiring team members as if there's no limit to money because you've always been limited by money. And that is one of my biggest regrets, but that's how you learn. One of my biggest regrets is I hired too many people and I paid them too well, honestly. And I wish I had hired fewer, started them lower so they have room to grow. But when you pay someone a top dollar, my team would get lazy. So you have to motivate them. I've never been a boss before, so I had to learn all that. But yeah, I think you're just so excited. You've never had that kind of money before. You burned through it. And I did do some of that, but I was also, thank God, like, how can I invest this and multiply this? Because as much as I love working, I want my money to work just as hard for me.
Okay. Can you speak more about like outside of filming, like how you bring in your income?
So I have multiple streams of income, which is so fun to talk about because I remember when I was poor and I'm learning about the energetics of wealth. And I remember saying this prayer to the universe. I was so skeptical. I'm like, there's no way money's energetics. There's no way you think a thought and money appears. That is like so insane. But I was willing to believe because nothing else was working. So I remember saying this prayer like, okay, universe, if you can show me that money can literally disappear out of nowhere, I will dive hardcore into this and devote myself to this. And I remember shortly after, like probably a week after I'm like saying this like prayer to the universe, I walked to my grocery store and I walk in, this guy who works there who I don't recognize. He's like, hey, are you Nikole? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, did you forget something at the grocery store? And I was like, I don't think so. He's like, I swear I saw an envelope with your name in the back. Let me go get it. I'm like, okay. So I stay there. He comes with an envelope. He like opens up. He's like, oh, I guess we owe you cash. Here you go. My grocery store gave me an envelope of cash. And I was like, okay, my prayer has been answered. I freaking believe. I'm all in. And so I'm like, how can I manifest the shit out of money? And all it just started trickling. I remember my husband was at work. He got up to go to the bathroom. When he came back, there was a check from the vending machine company saying they owed him money. Like the crazy stuff started happening. I'm like, this stuff is real. Fast forward today. Now I have more streams of income than I can typically keep track, which is just mind-boggling because that was the first stream of income was an envelope of cash from my grocery store. But I do my OF. There's another similar site called Minx or Sex Panther that I do really well on. I have a life coaching business, so I have one-on-one clients. I have a membership. I teach digital courses. A lot of it is around money and self-expression. I do sugar dating. I have people buying my old clothes from me. People
Really?
I get DMs and emails all the time. Like every day there's someone like, can I buy this? Can I pay? Can you make this for me? Can you send me this? Can I hire you for this? And I'm like, yes, 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 yes. And so I just have money constantly coming in from so many ways. I get paid for certain interviews, collaborations, products. Like it's almost laughable now just because I come from a place where I had no idea how to monetize anything to where now I know how to monetize everything.
And how could you share that, the inspiration to it? Because I know, like how you said it, like the energy is coming that like it's just showing up, and then you're starting to believe. Versus somebody like the scarcity mindset looks at it and goes like, man, like I would want to get money today, but like I know I'm not doing anything, and they're just down on themselves. Their energy is down, like they're not manifesting it and just bringing it in. Like, how much do you really believe that like a person that has no income right now can change?
I mean, I can only say that because I came from no income. I was literally a stay-at-home mom to 3 children on food stamps. My full-time job was being a welfare queen, which is so much work. You have so many appointments, so many documents you have to submit, so many interviews you have to do. My kids had to have regular blood work check up to make sure they were being nourished enough. Like it is so stressful to be on food stamps, and there is no such thing as like profiting off of it. It's never enough to survive, but it helps fill the gap a little bit. So I know, because that background, I know that those who are listening and feel that truth in their body, that they are meant for so much more, that you will make it. But if you're the kind of person who's like, that will never happen to me, I'm not here to convince you differently. Like I'm never here to convince anyone of anything. I'm here to speak to the already convinced. So if there is someone who's listening who's like listening to you, Nikole, I feel like that can be me, you're the one. And I was the same way. I'm like, I know what everyone else thinks. I know what my old logic thinks, but I know that my old logic got me where I am, and I hate where I am. So I'm willing to believe some crazy stuff if it's going to get me where I want to be. Okay. And so I would challenge you to just have this fun, playful energy. Like, okay, let's see what money we can manifest today, manifest this week. And I would keep track of everything because our brain only focuses on the negative. So if you find a quarter on the ground, you better pick that up, thank the universe, and write that down in your journal. If someone covers your lunch randomly, if you get a random discount at a store that you didn't ask for and the cashier just gave it to you, like I would document all this stuff, and it would start showing me abundance is everywhere. I just didn't have the eyes to see it. I was so quick to focus on the negative and so quick to be critical and so quick to be bitter. I was so busy being mad at wealthy people that I was keeping myself in a poor position.
Like
yes.
I see like people all the time like, man, like how's he have that car? Like he has that house. Like what does he do for a living? Like,
yes. You cannot become that which you judge. If you are constantly judging wealthy people, you will not become a wealthy person because you will not let yourself become a bad person. So I remember I had to Google, because I want to be a billionaire, like good billionaires in the world, because you only hear about the bad billionaires. And there are so many good billionaires doing so much good in the world that do not get mainstream press. And once I saw that, I was like, oh, the narrative is a lie, that all wealthy people are bad, that there's so many good, rich people doing good things. I'm going to be the next one in line. And if you're like me and you want to do a lot of good in the world, you are required to get wealthy because so much good needs resources. Okay. And I remember when I was in grad school, I was seminary, I was getting my master's in social justice, and I became obsessed with money, and my school could not support me. They just thought like, you're a capitalist, you're a sellout, you're selfish. And so I had to graduate early and leave because I couldn't thrive in that environment. So the very location that kind of gave me grief for wanting to be wealthy, guess who now emails me every year asking for donations?
Oh, really?
This happens all the time. You judge the thing, but deep down you actually need the thing. You need the money. So instead of having to be in a position where you have to ask people for money, learn how to get as rich as possible because you can do so much more good in the world as a result.
Can you share with the women out here that are thinking and hesitating on wanting to do, I guess we can call it like sugar daddy dating?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want to do sugar dating, so I literally teach women how to sugar date. And so there's a couple versions of it. I teach a whole program on how to date wealthy gentlemen with no intimacy. It's amazing how many men with money just yearn for connection.
I've interviewed a lot of women that like work at the brothels, and they literally said like, I don't even like touch them, like, and if they do, like, I'm getting paid this much, and it's no more than a hug. Like,
Yes, like they are just, they want conversation, they want connection, they want to be seen. And so I've had men pay me to go on dates with them just to have dinner, just to have lunch, just to spend time with them. Nothing physical happens. So I literally teach women how to make 25K months from that alone. It is insane how much, because when you date wealthy people or when you serve rich clients, like as a life coaching business owner, money's never an issue. And I always tell people, if you have a business, you need to have part of it cater to the 1%. Every business caters to 99%. As someone who makes the money that I make, it is honestly hard for me to find a life coach at my level. All the life coaching businesses cater to the 99%. So as a 1% earner, I'm constantly scouring the internet. Who can speak to my level? Okay. Like, money's not an issue. I'll pay whatever your rate is. So if you have a business, if you can cater part of it to the 1%, money's never an issue. So because I know how to cater to wealthy gentlemen, of course they're going to pay me for dinner. If I only cater to average income Joe, of course he's not going to pay me for dinner. So I don't even spend time entertaining men like that. Okay. So I do that. And if you also want to include intimacy, I also am really good at that and also help women with that. But there are lots of men with lots of money who are good people, who are lonely and want to be seen and want to have time with them and want to be seduced. And to me, that money is quite effortless.
Do you feel in that field of the 1%, a lot of men that have money don't really have the natural ability to attract women or to be able to court a woman? Like,
there's so hard.
Or is it like
to
skipping the line? Like, I'm going to pay for it.
It is kind of skipping the line, where it's like, typically when you're hiring someone like me, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting a professional who's kind and warm and like knows how to be intimate and connected and is going to make the most of your time. These men are typically super busy. They typically have their own empires and multi-businesses. They don't have time for traditional dating. Traditional dating is like, you never know what you're going to get. But when you're in the sugar world, typically, again, there's always exceptions, but typically you're going to get a woman who is confident, secure, knows exactly what you want, is happy to give it to you, and then you're done, and he goes live his life, she lives her life, and there's no drama. And that is what so many men need, is just like, can I get that connection? Can I feel seen? Can I feel special? Can I be seduced? Get that break from work, be rejuvenated, and they go right back into work. And I love being that breath of fresh air. And to me, it is way simpler than traditional dating.
Okay. What about the woman that's out here and says, I've never met a six-figure man in my life? Like, I don't know if this is possible for me.
You just don't know it. With the places you travel, the people you meet, and they are everywhere. We like to believe rich people are anywhere but here. Yeah. Oh, they're in LA, they're in New York. Exactly. I don't know. I remember that in Minnesota. I was like, I don't know any millionaires. And I remember I set this intention, like, I want to meet a millionaire someday. And I don't know, within a month of me setting that intention, I got invited to a millionaire's party in Minnesota. And I was like, what? And then I ended up not going to the party, but the fact that I got invited to one, like, it just shows, again, we have the ability to morph our reality. We're like, he was always there. I just didn't know. And I didn't have the eyes for him or the energy for him. And then once I put it out there, I became a match for him. So you probably have. Like, it's amazing how many rich people are everywhere you go. They're at restaurants, they're at movie theaters, they're at travel destinations. Like, they're everywhere. They're in hotels, they're in airports. But you've been so closed off to the idea that you haven't met any that you've missed the ones that you have met.
Okay. And how are you able to maintain all this, like, streams, income, business rolling around, and still take care of family?
Yeah, I am a mom of 5, which is crazy. And one thing about having family, it just kind of forces you to balance. Like, if I didn't have kids, I would work all day and all night because I love working. I love making money. It's literally one of my biggest turn-ons. I'm very much a businesswoman, but having kids forces me, like, all right, it's dinner time. Or like, I drive my kids to school every morning. I pick them up every day. Like, that's really important to me that I'm there for them. And so I think it forces me to balance it. And then I would say having one good assistant is all you need. So I hate spreadsheets. I hate that kind of, that is not my zone of genius. And hiring someone where they are organized, they love it, it turns them on, and are on top of it for you, on top of your calendar, your emails. that is honestly more than you don't need a team of 5. You need one person for me who's like creative and flowing, imaginative and energy to contain that and provide me structure.
I've seen
And that's everything.
like a lot of people that they actually need it in their life, like the help and everything, but I feel like they make the mistake and it's just like, oh, I got my cousin to do it, and my cousin. So like, what do you recommend? Like,
Oh gosh,
hire somebody you know or hire a stranger?
I don't recommend hiring people you know. I have two main assistants. I mean, I have a few assistants, but two main ones. One I met and I really liked his vibe. We did a shoot together, and later when I was like, "Hey, I like your vibe. Would you be open?" So I knew him like as an acquaintance when I hired him, and he's been with me for years now. I've hired friends of friends. It has never worked because they don't take it seriously and they think they kind of get to be treated like the exception, like, oh, I didn't get around to it, but I'll get it tomorrow. No professional will do that. So now I hire through an online company, and my latest hire from there, she is like top notch, on top of it, so professional. And it is, yes, it's money up front, but that money spent saves me money.
It buys you time.
Yes.
That's why I get people all the time that don't realize that the income, like, yeah, it makes
Time
you happy,
is money.
but the fact that you can do something else and they do something for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've hired assistants in the back where they were pretty lazy and disorganized, and I spent more time babysitting them when they're supposed to be basically babysitting me, making sure I'm on top of my game and I'm on top of theirs. I'm like, that is such a waste of time and energy and money that I'm like, I'd rather fire them, figure it out on my own until I find a really good professional assistant. And she's been worth the wait, and I pay her more than any other assistant I've hired in the past, and she crushes it.
Okay. And now, can you speak on the money that you have made of the industry and everything? Like, what investments and plans do you have?
So I have a wealth management team. So investments are not my jam. That is not my expertise. I don't know that world. And so this is something I learned as a rich person is rich people know how to delegate. So I know how to delegate tasks I don't want to do. Like I don't cook, I don't clean. I have an assistant who does all that. I don't manage my own investments. I have a wealth management team and a wealth management advisor who does all of that for me, gives me regular updates. And that has been huge. And like, again, it took me a while to find them. I've had to hire and fire a lot of team members to like find the right team because there are a lot of people who will take advantage, who promise you big stuff and then they take from you. But when you find the right team, it's so worth it. But because I'm later in life to money, I'm 41. We are very aggressive with my investments because I don't have 20 extra years. If I had started this in my 20s, I would have had that to grow my investments. I don't have that. And then I've also invested in experiences. Experiences are more important to me than things. Like I don't do a lot. I don't shop a lot except for maybe some clothes. I invest in my children's education. And then my partner and I just bought a multimillion-dollar home year and a half, almost 2 years ago now. And that is the biggest investment I've ever been a part of, and feel really, really excited that that's even a possibility in my life right now.
Okay. Speaking of the OnlyFans platform, do you recommend? There's a lot of people that they try it, they're doing solo content, and it's just like, my money's like fluctuating, it's up and down. Some of the subscribers are falling off, this and that. I'm gonna just go straight to a company and just make mainstream money.
Yeah.
Like, what is your intake on like leaving the independent world and going to mainstream signing contracts?
So I'm biased. I'm an independent creator. I've been an independent creator for 7 years. I love the control. I love the power. I love the freedom. There's no middleman. I decide my rates. I decide my hours. I do really well for myself. I've also learned how to master marketing. Like I've gone viral multiple times. It's very much intentional on my part because if you want more money and you want more people, you have to put yourself out there to be found by more people. So I pitch myself to major platforms with massive followings, and that gets me a lot of money. But I will say this, fluctuation is normal. There is no such thing as this. You're always going to have ups and downs, and part of your job as a creative is to regulate your nervous system and to not freak out when it plummets or when it dips, because dips are normal. And I think we've a little bit like false advertised, like once you become rich, you only make more money. And it's like, I heard 50 Cent say something recently on social media, like less than a month ago, where he's clapping back at someone who has no money. And he's like, listen, I've been rich, or I've gotten rich 3 times. And he breaks down 3 times he's gotten rich. And I love that perspective because I feel like I had my first wave of rich when I went viral the first time. It lasted for years. And now I'm in my second wave of rich right now that's happening. Like my income I tripled my income last month. I'm just in this whole new flow. And I'm like, oh, this is it. Like I've had ups and downs the entire journey, but I always know more is on its way. So there's 2 ways you can approach this. Stay independent and stay in your power and control as long as possible. Build something really solid and then wait to sign on with someone, whether it's an agency or mainstream, who's going to add to that and get you more money, or sign on with a mainstream team to get your name out there, because this is true. You won't make as much money at first, because I don't think the adult industry actually pays their performers a lot. At least for me, I'm an independent creator. I make a lot of money, so I have a skewed perspective. Let them promote you on all their platforms, establish a name, and then if you have like an OF, they will funnel over and subscribe. But it's people who are wishy-washy. They start OF, and they go to mainstream. They go OF, and like those people have the most disappointing results. But go all in, whether you're gonna do mainstream or your own thing. Go all in, build something beautiful, big, and real. And the world will give you its attention. And then once you have one solid in one area, take on the other, and you can multiply that.
Can you share with them the points on why they do shift back and forth? I'm pretty sure like a lot of the women, like they said, some of the subs will fall off. Say they've been making just solo content with toys for so long, maybe if their viewers are getting tired of seeing it, they're requesting for like boy-girl content or something like that. Like if they feel like this is what they stand on, like, no, I just want to just do solo content and just play with toys. I don't really want to include any males or anything like that or girls in my video. Like, are they capping themselves off, or can they still succeed?
No, because most of my content is solo.
Okay.
And so my fans have actually gotten really used to me being solo. I do some girl, and I just did my first boy-girl scene 2 weeks ago for the first time in 5 years. And my fans had mixed reviews. I had fans who loved it, had been waiting for this for years, and I had other fans who were like, kind of liked when you just did solo. So it really comes down to like what actually feels good to you. So I don't do anything that doesn't feel aligned and true for me. So if I have fans, especially in the beginning, like, do you do boy girl? I was like, I don't, but if I ever do, I will let you know. And I just was unapologetic, like, hey, maybe I will get there, but I'm not there yet. And I think that's part of what built me a very loyal fan base. So I was very truthful. I wasn't trying to overpromise and underdeliver or like, yeah, I'm going to do it and then not ever do it. It's like, hey, listen, I'm not there yet. Right now, I'm just discovering what it's like for me to express myself sexually. And if I ever get there, oh my gosh, I will definitely. And they're like, whoa, this is the real deal. Because usually when you go to Pornhub or whatever, it's just explicit content. There's no journey. There's no backstory. There's no evolution in real time. But for my fans, I've been doing this for 7 years. They saw me go from when I first started my site, there was no nudity. I was in regular.
No nudity?
No. I was like, I'd wear
paying?
something like this. Yes. And I'd be like, what do you think of my dress? And they loved the innocence. Like, here's this woman who's like so shy and so bashful.
Wow.
And I'd only wear like sexy little outfits. Eventually I moved to lingerie, but showed nothing still. And eventually I would do like a hand bra. And they loved it, because when do you ever get to see a woman evolve in front of you? It's either they're all in and they do all explicit, or they've never started their page.
It's funny that you said that. I've seen this girl. She did it in the podcast, but she was just showing her body for the longest. She said she was showing her body on OF and just playing lightly and teasing with it the whole time. And I guess she was like always like from the chin up. It was like never displayed her face. And then she did it for like, she said about like 8 months, and she said she let her fans know like, on this day I'm gonna like do face reveal and everything. She said she made like on that day she released, she said she made 20,000 like just releasing her face.
I totally believe it.
And I was like, wow.
And I think women are too quick to show it all on these pages, because you want to build up that anticipation. You want to build up the desire. I waited, I think, 3 years before I did my first girl. And I still wish I'd waited longer, because they ate it up, and I made so much money the first year. Now they've gotten used to it. Okay. Right? And I'm like, God, I wish I'd maybe delayed it a little, because desire is everything. Okay. And so like part of your job as a creator is, even if you show all the things, I've shown everything now, is like, how do I continually innovate?
That's what
you
I
have to be on the forefront of your game. And if you're starting to get bored with your content, they're probably getting bored. So it's not just them, it's you. It's like, how can I spice it up? And so eventually it's where like on my page, I go live every single week, and each week has a different theme. And so just it's something a little different. It's not the same thing. Like, I'm just going live. Like, I have a different theme. And so the ones who like this theme are going to come to it, and the ones who don't. And I scratch different people's itches, and that feels good to me to have a variety of roles to play. So like, if you stay innovative, you'll keep people's interest. But as soon as you stop growing, evolving, and trying new things, they're going to stop growing and trying it with you.
Okay. I always wonder that, like, for people that, like you said, I see a lot of people in the industry that come and they're a rising star, looks kind of hot, and then like 2-3 years, and then like they're gone. Like, they disappear from the internet. Only old content is up. Like, I always wonder what happened to them.
Yes. And that's the thing, is like, I'm very competitive, and I'm like, I will outlast everyone. Okay. So I'm all in. And even if I have low months and dips, and I've had heartbreak and people betray me, it's like, we're all human. We have crazy human lives. I'm still in the game. And I will not quit. Like, I'm in it all the way to the end. And I've seen so many content creators come and go. I've seen people become a hot moment and disappear. And I remember when I went viral, I had a mantra in my head and go off on my phone every day saying, I am not a one-hit wonder. I am an ongoing wonder. Because I did not want to be those people who pop once and then you never hear from them again. I'm like, I want Nikole Mitchell to be a household name. And so when everyone else is quitting or freaking out, I've put my head down and stayed the course. And I believe that's a huge reason why I have the success that I have today.
How do you not get discouraged when you have like a, I'm not saying like, like you don't go bankrupt, but like just a slower
we all
month.
have hard months. I cry. I throw tantrums. I call them my holy tantrums. I get pissed. I panic because it's the human experience. But I can either stay mad and scared, or I can buckle down and be like, okay, what can I do? And part of it is logical and strategic. Like, what can I do to shift things and tweak things? But what I'm really good at is like the energetic. Like, okay, what do I need to shift energetically in my mindset to like really feel this? And I remember even just a few months ago in November, I felt like this word come through me, like surrender, Nikole. And I was like, oh, I have felt this feeling before. And it's before I went viral the first time. And what I was getting from this, like this message from the universe is like, surrender to how things are and be open to how things might change. And I was like, okay, because I had a good group. I have my OnlyFans, I've got my coaching, I've got Fansly, I've got mini vids. I have all these things going where all my money's coming in. And I'm like, but I've been here before and I feel this energy. And I'm like, I'm open to this. And sure enough, within 2 months of that, my income explodes, triples itself. And it's based on like different things that came through. Like I have a sugar daddy gentleman paying me a crap ton of money each month to be his sugar baby. My friend introduced me to the site Minx, where I'm making absolute bank right on there right now. And it's like, but I had to not be so attached. It has to come through these channels. I'm like,
That's
okay,
what I was gonna ask you
what
next.
other way can money come to me? And so when I have panic moments, I have to lean into that. Like money has always found its way to me.
Okay.
There's no limit to money. There's no cap to money. So I will not limit or cap it. I'm going to stay in the flow. I'll throw my tantrum. And then I get back in the flow and say, okay, universe, surprise me where the next surge of income is going to come from.
For the people that like get, like you said, get the scarcity mindset, like when something like fails, obviously, like you said, like the pattern of Jesus, I know I'm gonna make it happen. It's gonna happen for me regardless of whatever I'm doing. You just have that energy and that aura about yourself. Can somebody else develop that, or do they have to have it in you? Like,
oh God, right? So I think that nature versus nurture. I think it's both. I think people say I was born with it. I have this natural charisma, this drivenness.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But man, I put money where my mouth is. Last year, I hired a coach for $111,000, made zero money off of it.
Oh,
So
wow.
in technical terms, it was a failure.
Yeah.
In energetic terms, I learned. I learned a lot from an investment that did not work out the way I had hoped, and I think it actually made me a better businesswoman. And so I learn as much from my failures as I do for my wins. And I think that's not something you're born with. That is a habit you must build. Is if you get depressed from your mistakes, you're never going to make it. You're going to make a ton of mistakes on the way up. So how can I learn from my mistake so that it makes me more money in the end? And man, did I learn a lot from that $111,000 investment that I think has made me a more savvy businesswoman. And I think it actually helped me because I was trying to go in this direction by hiring her, and I'm now going in this direction. And that hiring of her made it very clear that is not the direction I want to go in anymore.
Okay.
So I paid $111,000 to find out
To
that's
learn.
not the way I don't want to go.
There's-
It's worth it in the end, but it was a whew. I felt that one. So I'm like, that was a lot of money I could have spent on wealth investments, my children's future, a new car. Like I could have spent that some ways, but it made me a better businesswoman in the end.
Okay. And the people that are just stuck with, like they made OnlyFans, first month's about $5,000, and then now they're looking at like, oh my God, this is it. Like different platforms carry different fans. I don't know if you would agree. Like MiniVids probably has a different fan base. Your Fansly people are probably requesting different things. And it's just them. Do they hire assistant to help them with the rest of that stuff, or do they just build on it slowly until it starts rolling and then get an assistant?
I always recommend, again, everyone's journey is a little different, so only you know what you're meant to do, but I recommend do as much of it yourself as you can so that you can teach your assistant what to do. What can happen is if you hire an assistant too soon who does it all for you and then they quit or you fire them, you're extra screwed because now you have all these platforms that are running that come to a screeching halt because you don't know how to run them. So for me, and this has been, I think, a smart move on my part, I try to learn everything before I delegate. Because of that, I've had that happen where I've had team members literally disappear overnight and I have no idea where all the information, like it's been so messy. So I would say learn as much as possible. Income dips are normal. find ways like collaborations are really huge. So if you can collaborate with other OF creators or other Fansly creators, I'm really good at getting press. So if you ever want to learn how to do that, I have a training on that. But find your thing. Some content creators love creating viral things on TikTok. Don't even use TikTok, and I'm making banks. So like,
that's crazy.
Everyone's like, you have to be on TikTok.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's how I see it.
Sure. I get it through press. Other people get it through collaborations. There's no one right way to make a lot of money. It's like finding your thing. And mine is I'm really good at media. I'm really good at interviews, and I'm really good at collaborating and like collaborating with the right people. And that makes me a lot of money. And I'm really good at the mindset of money as well. So do as much as you can. I say it's the famous quote we all hear, hire slowly, fire quickly is definitely a true mantra. But you have to be in it for the long haul. If you're only in it for the short-term profit, you'll burn out and be done, which makes it easier for people like me who don't quit. So the more of you who quit, the better for me. But those of you who don't quit, the higher chances you have of winning.
Okay. And the fact that you said that, you mentioned that for them not to be burnt out so quickly, how do you know when too much is too much?
I mean,
because the money drives you. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a woman who's very driven by money. I actually think burnout is normal. And so it's not to freak out when you're burnout, it's to reevaluate. Okay, where am I overgiving? Where am I overextending myself? Where am I crossing my own boundaries? Where am I lowering my standards? And like I was telling you earlier before this podcast, like I do paid dating, right? So men can hire me for dates. And I don't care how much money you have. If you are an energetic drain or you feel like I feel icky energy from you, I turn you down. My energy makes me a lot of money. And if you dampen my energy, that is an income loss to me, even if you're literally paying me for that date. So I'm very quick to turn down anyone who has money but has icky energy with it. So that's like one way I've actually mitigated a lot of potential burnout is I just stopped entertaining people with weird energy. I've turned down coaching clients who've offered me multi 5 figures to hire me, and I could tell we were not the right fit. I've turned them down. I've I've allowed clients to hire me in the past that were wrong, and they were such a drain on me. It was not worth the money they paid me, and I will not take money who's not aligned for me. So like burnout's natural, but when you do get burnout, you need to look at where you learn your standards, where you're crossing your boundaries, and clean that up to prevent future burnouts.
Okay. And for people that want to reach out and work with you when it comes to collaboration and stuff, like, are you looking straight up for numbers? Are you looking at their line of work, like how many followers they have or anything like that? Like what?
Great question. So yeah, it has to be equitable for me. So like, I just had someone pitch me. They have 12,000 followers. I have like 300 some thousand off all my platforms. I've had some of them close down because, you're dealing with the social media police. But this person with 12,000, like trying to do an equal collab, but have me pay them a little bit. And I'm just like, this is not an equal collab. Like I have a way bigger reach and I'm on way more platforms. My name's way more known than yours. I'm like, they just shot themselves a foot by trying to like, not only ask me to collab, but then ask me to pay. And I was like, there's no way. Either you pay me or we do a trade. So I always tell my coaching clients, like, let's say you're an OF creator and you have 10,000 followers on social media, find other OF creators who have between 5 and 50,000 social media followers. So like there's kind of a match there and see if you guys can collaborate together. Typically at my level, I'm not going to collaborate with someone who has only 10,000 because I need to get something out of it. But work your way there. I did that when I had 10,000 followers. I worked with other accounts at around 10, 15, 20. And then once I had 20,000, I did other accounts at 20 to 50. And I slowly rose up. And now at this level, I work with people who have hundreds of thousands or sometimes the occasional million followers. But there has to be a win for both parties. And I find most people sabotage themselves when they are a little too eager and try to go for someone beyond their level. And it's like, you have to work your way there, and I promise you it's worth it. And you'll get there. If you work it, you'll get there.
So pretty much play within your reach.
Yeah, play in your range. Like I'm not going to help a beginner out. And for many reasons, A, there's nothing in it for me. And B, so many beginners quit. So why would I collab with someone who I don't even know has skin in the game? I need to know that you've been doing this for a long time. I want to see like we are aligned. And I still make the exception. I have a collab with some people smaller followers than me because we vibe. So that is huge. But if you try to go for too much too soon, we're smart business people. We know how to take smart risks, and you may not be one of them.
Okay. And for like the boy-girl scene that you said you just filmed, is his following like real big, or like what made you choose like?
Yes, his following is bigger than mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was really awesome, and he was highly recommended by a fellow OF creator, and I trust her with my life, and she's like she vets the best talent, and she's like, you have to do it, and it was actually a boy, girl. I'm like, that's very Nikole. When I do something, it's not just like one thing. It's like I'm on the all extreme end, and so it was a boy, girl, and it was so much fun. And he has a huge following, and all of us together have really big followings, and so it felt very aligned. And it was so much fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how much you can share or just what you feel about it, just knowledgeably. What about male creators that are trying to get in?
I get a lot of them actually reaching out to me. And I'm a little surprised at how needy they are. Like I have found men more so than women need validation. Like, do you think I'm good enough? Like, what do you think? What do you think of my body? Can I show you my size? And it's like, whoa, like this isn't about size. This is about like, it's bigger. I mean, unless that's your main thing you want to promote, but it's like typically it's your personality or what's your brand or what's your value or what's your niche. Like you have to typically know your worth starting this being in this industry, not look to the industry for your worth. And so like I knew coming in, I was like, I'm naive, I'm a little shy, I'm bashful, I'm a former pastor, I'm the girl next door. That is a niche. People love the innocent turn naughty, you know? And like I was like, I'm gonna lean into that. I'm a very bubbly personality. So I don't try to be stoic. I don't try to be like all serious. I'm like, I love laughing and smiling, being silly and when I strip tease, I'm like laughing and giggling. Like I'm just very Nikole. I'm not trying to be like anyone else. And so male talent, I find like when they're newer, they need validation right away. Like, what do you think I'm good at? And I'm like, that is not my job to tell you what you're good at. You need to know what you're bringing to the table and build a brand on that and confidently promote that. And then, like you said, work in your range. I'm typically so far beyond these male talent that I'm like, you're asking the wrong person. I don't do beginners. Build up a brand and reputation, and then we can maybe talk down the road. But be confident, promote yourself, be in it for the long haul, and find people at your level to collab with.
Okay. What platforms are good to network? Would you say is better?
I think wherever you are and wherever you thrive is the best platform to network. So like everyone would say that's like TikTok, right? I don't even use TikTok. I have it. I don't use it. And I'm sure, I know we're all leaving money on the table. I can make more money there, but I have plenty of it coming other ways. I love Instagram. I make most of my collaborations on Instagram, even media. I pitch most of my media platforms through Instagram, not even email, and I get accepted through Instagram most of the time. If you are a Snapchat person and you love it, that's your thing. If you're on Facebook and that, like the thing you love doing that's so effortless for you is typically where your most effortless connections go to. I also love networking events, so I will go to big networking events. Even though I don't love them, I'm just a smart businesswoman. And even just you said a little bit before, you learned about me through another podcast. And I extended my business trip 2 extra days just to do this business trip, and I didn't want to. I wanted to go home. I missed my family. I'd been gone for a week. I was exhausted, but I was like, as a smart businesswoman, this is the right thing to do. And I stayed 2 extra days, did the interview, and then here we are. You're like, I learned about you from the interview.
I've seen her content, and I was like, I have to have her as a guest.
Yes.
Like, this is perfect. Like,
so I put in the work, and like I'm very strategic about like, is this a smart long-term business move? Okay, I'm going to postpone my discomfort of wanting to go home. I'm going to do this interview. I'm going to trust it's going to lead to something, and then here we are.
Yeah. Actually, more and more like you're talking about, like it really is like a truthful thing for the people out here that don't understand that like what you want and what you focus on, you actually draw the energy and it comes to you. Like people really don't believe it just because things aren't going right today, tomorrow, you lost some money here or there and you just want to quit. I'm going to go get a clock-in job. I try to do this entrepreneur stuff and it ain't for me. Like a lot of people are just giving up, and like she's like a pure example of like it can be like take the hit, like it's all part of the game. Take a hit on the jaw, like it's all part of the game. Every fighter gets hit. Like
I'm all in no matter what. I remember during COVID, everyone's like freaking out, shutting down. I'm doing life coaching at that time. I'm doing OF, and it's not making me enough money. So what I started doing Postmates. So I'm working 2 jobs during the day, coaching and OF, and I started delivering food 5 nights a week. And I was a little bitter because I'm like, I cannot believe at this point in my career I'm doing this, but also I will do whatever it takes to make it. And so instead of being mad about it, I used it because who was using DoorDash and Postmates at COVID? Rich people were. So it got me into some of the most rich neighborhoods in my area, and I would drive through and I would like manifest like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a house like this someday. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a house like this someday. And I remember I went to this one house and their keys to their Lamborghini were in their front door. So when I knock on the door and I deliver the food, I'm like, oh, just so you know, your keys are there. They're like, yeah. And they just shut the door in my face and left the keys there. And I was like, I want to be that rich. Where like, I don't even care if that someone could literally pull my Lamborghini key and their Lamborghini's out front, and I like had the staging. I'm like, what if I took it for a spin and then put it back? But I remember thinking that, and now I'm living in one of the neighborhoods I used to manifest, like drive through and provide food for. And so like I'm all in. I will do whatever it takes. I will work as many jobs as it takes until whatever I believe in gets off the ground. And that's how you make it. You take the hit and you rise up again and you keep going anyway.
Can you share a short story on maybe say a collab where it kind of didn't go where you thought it was going to go? Like you thought okay, I vetted the person, I checked the portfolio, like I know that this is going to increase me and go higher, and it didn't turn out. So what was you?
Yeah, so when my very first girl, I was reached out to by this European documentary team, and they're like, we have this new model. She's huge in Europe, kind of like you're huge in the U.S., and we think you'd be a good mentor for her. Can you mentor her, and we'll get that on her documentary? We're traveling to the U.S. for this. I'm like, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'm a content creator and I'm a mentor. This is a dream come true. I go over to film, and they're like, okay, we want you now to make out. And I was like, wait, I was told the word mentor. I was not told make out. And it ended up being a girl scene for this European documentary with a crew of 4. And I was like, I cannot believe this is my first girl scene. And I have to perform in front of all these men. And it's going to go in Europe. And I have no control. But I'm like, but she's huge. So I'm sure I'm going to blow up. So I do it. And I'm excited. And then they went back to Europe and never heard from them again. And we filmed the video, and I needed her to sign a release form, and she kept saying, I'll get to it. And that was 4 years ago, and I never got. I can't sell that video. And it was like so hot, so sexy, but never heard back from her. And I was like really mad for a year. I was like, dude, I gave you my all for your documentary. I did everything your team asked me of, and I just need you to sign one form so I could sell it on my end. And she never signed it. And now she's no longer an adult model. So it's like she's the one who like crashed and burned, you know?
Dang.
So stuff like that happens. We're like, this is an amazing opportunity. And then it fizzles out, and you get up and try again anyway.
For the people that you see that have came and gone from your perspective, looking outside in, why? What reason? So
many reasons. I think some people are in it just for a quick buck, and then when they don't get it, they get really mad and they quit. Some people can't handle the pressure. Some people get a lot of. I mean, my whole family cut me off. My friends all cut me off. Like that is something.
How are your kids with the whole
thick skin? Yeah, they can't handle how their kids respond to it. Like people quit all the time, and I've just been willing to like have the hard conversations. So when my parents cut me off, my siblings cut me off, my best friends cut me off, I had to tell my kids at their age appropriate level, just like, hey, my family and I are working through some hard things. They don't really love what mommy does. And so we're just giving each other space to like figure out what we're going to do with that. And my kids' responses have changed over the years. There have been years where like, that's so cool, you're a famous mom. And they see how much money I make because they see the lifestyle. And they're like, look at our lifestyle. Because they remember being poor in Minnesota. And they have other days where like, it's so weird. Like you get paid to wear sexy clothes. Like, ugh, that's so gross, mom. And then they've had seasons where it's like, I don't care what you do, mom. Like, I just like the life you give me. Do whatever you want. Like, keep this lifestyle up for us. So that they've all had their different iterations, but they all, for the most part, know what I do. They see the life that I've built them. They see the clean energy I do with it. There's no lying, deceiving, sketchiness. It's all above board, very clean, very consensual, very adult versus adult. There's no adults and kids. You know, I tell them there's kids do kids things, adults do adult things. I do adult things with adults. And they have a really beautiful life as a result.
Okay. And lastly, what could you share with somebody, single mom, is out here trying to figure it out? She's going to keep the part-time job, but she either is thinking to do like finding sugar dates, escorting just flat out and travel, or set up one of these platforms. And she's going to work by herself. She doesn't have nobody help her take pictures or anything. She's going to do everything. So
nowadays, that's me too. I do 98% of my own stuff with my phone. It's just a tripod and me, and it's very successful. So I just want to reassure these single moms. I was a single mom as well before I now have my partner, and I understand like I got divorced at the height of COVID with my whole family and friends cutting me off in a brand new state with a lease of $4,250 a month, and I was making maybe $5,000 a month, and like I was in panic mode, and I pulled through. I found a way. So I'd say, A, you can do it. I know you can. I've been there, and I know you can freaking make it. 2, I think the biggest thing I know, even when you're in a desperate situation, you can't have desperate energy. I've seen women sugar dating, like, I need money right now. Who's going to pay for my bills? And like, no man will ever go on a date with a woman who's desperate for his money. And so like you have to put yourself in the shoes of your dream clients, whether they're men who are going to pay you for dates or your fans are going to come to your site. And if you think they're going to want to give money to a woman who's begging and desperate, you're wrong. You have to present clean energy, even if you have to fucking fake it in the beginning. And just like you're confident and you're sexy and you're sultry and you're exactly what they're looking for. That'll get them to open up their wallets. So I know in your hard time, it's so hard to not go into desperate energy, but you just cannot afford to because it will prevent people with money paying you.
Can they start this without feeling sexy and confident first? Because the money is going to push them to, they need the money, so they're going to try to figure out how to do it. But can they succeed without being
It's a
confident?
lot easier if you feel confident first, as confident as you can. We all have insecurities, we all have flaws, we all have up and down days. But like as a whole, I always tell people, do not start these pages or do this work to find your confidence. Be confident and monetize it. So it's what you're doing. It's like, I'm monetizing my confidence when I say to a gentleman, absolutely, you can take me on a date. Here's my rate. They're like, oh, I would never pay that. No problem. Have a great day. I move on to the next. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not desperate. Like, just as I know there are men who won't pay, I know there are men who will, and I do not focus on the ones who don't. Like, be as confident as you can and then learn how to monetize it. It's a lot hard because if you make your confidence based on your results, when the results dip, when the results won't come fast enough, your confidence will plummet, and it's really hard to get back up from that.
And how would you recommend they safely promote these platforms, ManyVids and OnlyFans and stuff? I'm pretty sure you had some pages that took it down.
Oh, you have to play by the rules. You don't own Instagram, you don't own TikTok, you don't own all that stuff. So they're allowed to call the shots. I just had an account with 0 violations. My second biggest account taken down 2 weeks ago. And I reached out. I said there were no warnings, 0 violations. Why? And they said, we don't know, but it was taken down and you will never get it back. It's permanently banned. And it was just like, it was devastating because I've worked 5 years on that account and it's gone overnight. So even when you're safe, it can still happen. And I can either be mad and give them middle finger and never use the platform again. Or I'm like, okay, I start a new page. And so I have multiple pages, but my backups are at 1,000, right? Not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. Yeah. So play safe, but if they take it down, get back up and build a new one.
Okay. And lastly, can you tell them what will they see in 2026 from Nikole?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, this is my most luscious year yet. I'm actually doing, like, I just did a post yesterday on my story saying you're going to see a lot less coaching posts of mine. I've done hardcore coaching posts for 8 years. And I'm like, you're going to see a lot more embodiment posts, me telling stories about the luxurious life, not to trigger, but to inspire and to show what I've created from nothing. And I'm done proving and explaining and defending. I'm just being. And so you're going to see me being my soft air, making so much money so effortlessly. And I feel so unapologetic about it. I feel so at peace with it. And I think there's a frequency to my work that is going to shift something in you, even without me having this deep coaching post about it. You're going to see me. You're going to feel it. You're like, I want that. I feel there's a version of me who has that. And you're probably going to follow me. And every time you see me post, it's going to raise your vibration and it's going to start shifting your reality. And I think that's going to change the results that you get. So I'd say follow along, see what it's like to be a woman who went from hustling, grinding, proving to now who can just fully enjoy and relish in it while still building my empire behind the scenes.
Okay. Man, I know you guys will thank me throughout this later. The clips are coming soon, but thank you again for doing the show. I have to hear your story.
Good. Thank you for having me.
For sure. And once you succeed, I feel like this woman's going to be a billionaire. Like, I'll have to have her back again to catch some more of the business adventures for sure.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can't wait.
All right. BBC, we out.